What is up, Jags fans? What a Friday night, and we're here talking Jags because we are first place in the AFC South. I am pumped for tonight. We are looking at the Chargers film, and we're going to take a look and see if there's anything we can do to win this game based on their performances against the Chiefs and the Raiders. And I think we match up actually really nicely with this team. Besides going to the West Coast, I know all about that. I think we match up nicely. Before we get into all that, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get notifications when our live shows go live. We do film breakdowns, live shows, all those sorts of things. This is a fan channel. If you do get notifications, you can be the first one in the chat, like Jason Trent fan and Philip Butcher, who's a channel member. Nolly Fullcab was also here quick. Nolly Fullcab is also a channel member. So we're pumped for today. I want to get your comments. I have to give a special shout out to someone in the chat. Patrick Jackson. Hashtag NodyGang hype. It is 1:30 a.m. where Patrick Jackson is over in England. So shout out to Patrick. That's dedicated, man. I love to see it. We're going to get to all things Chargers film. But I do want to give a shout out to some of the comments here because last show, we did a live breakdown. If you go back and watch, we did a breakdown of the Jaguars game against the Colts. It's really good. Go back and watch it. And I didn't really get to a lot of the comments because I was focusing more on just doing like a breakdown, a film breakdown. So this one, I'm going to try to get to more of the comments here. Chase says, dang second. Butcher says, FML. Fatboy Shad says he was the first one here, but he didn't know what to say, and he put the fire emojis up. I like it. I like it. Hey, it's a Friday night. If you're not pumped to be here on a Friday night, like what else are you going to do? If you're hanging out with some friends, cast it on the TV. You know, we can have a fun little Jaguar party for sure. Chase says, I'm going to the game. First Jags game. What a game to go to SoFi. I would love to go to SoFi. Patrick Jackson says, Duval, Doff's cap. You need to go to bed. Oh, 2-week vacation, Patrick. I love it. I love it. Well, awesome. Hey, let's get to some of the film here on what's going to happen just because, you know, I like film. You guys like film. So let's get to it. We are going to get to the comments, though, so don't you worry. The first thing that I want to talk about is probably my favorite player on the Chargers, okay? Look at this. Corey T has become a channel member, the Trevor Lawrence level. Man, I appreciate it. Thank you, Corey. Corey is a big benefactor of the channel. Oh, Montana donated $1.99 through Super Chat with the heart. Oh, I appreciate it. All love, Montana. No, I got to give a huge shout out to Corey. Yeah, I mean, Corey, a lot of what you see on this stream is because of Corey. So you can give him a special shout out. He helped me get this thing started and has helped me maintain it with a lot of the production and all of that stuff. So if you have any YouTube questions, ask Corey. He may or may not help you. I don't know. But thank you guys. I appreciate it, Montana. Thank you. All right. My favorite person on the Chargers is Derwin James. Okay, there's no secret about it. I wanted the Jags to somehow finagle their way to get Derwin. It didn't work because Derwin James is an absolute beast, and it just, you know, wouldn't matter. It doesn't really work like that. So I want to bring up some of my favorite Derwin things here. And here's the thing: like they have Derwin playing like all over the place. So they have him playing like down in the box. They have him playing like free safety. They have him moving around. They have him like all like he's the man. Okay, so my hourly rate is $150. Corey, he's probably not kidding. He's probably not kidding, and that's what's funny. If you guys need help, he probably charges more than that. To be honest, he really does. The unofficial sponsor of this of this YouTube channel is Corey T for sure. All right, so they're gonna walk Derwin down in the box, but like, just watch what he's able to do here. I mean, pre-snap, it's like he kind of has the feeling, right? Like, you know, number 3 right here. It's like you kind of get the feeling that he knows it's going to be a run play here. This is in their Thursday night game they just had against the Chiefs, and they're in a 2 tight end set right here with an ace back, right? So we call this 12 personnel. The Chiefs run out of 12 personnel a lot. the Chargers are. I mean, they're stacking the box. They have at least 6 in the frame. They have a 7th guy over here behind my camera, so they're expecting the run. I think this is an early down here, but watch Derwin just come and fill. I mean, he's so methodical. I mean, he just comes down and just like you have to know where 3 is at all times. I mean, he covers so much grounds, and he just like Patrick Jackson says, we got the wrong Chargers safety. Well, I don't think 3 was available, unfortunately. But I mean, just the way, I mean, this is what he did all game. Like, you have to know where he is. What you can do with Derwin, though, is you can lull him to sleep. Like, you can bring him down into the box and you can go over the top, because I don't necessarily think that the Chargers are insanely disciplined on defense. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, the Jaguars executing is always a key to victory, right? I mean, that was the key to victory against the Colts. Are they going to make the passes? Are they going to make the catches? All of that stuff. But with Asante Samuel back there, Nasir Adderley is playing. I don't know. He may be injured. He's playing a little bit. Bryce Callahan. I mean, they got some decent dudes back there in the secondary. So they're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to execute. I mean, this is going to be the biggest test of this season so far. I mean, look against the Raiders. Horrible play action here. I mean, look at this. I mean, I don't know if you can see him lined up here. Let me take a look at what y'all can see. Yeah, all right, y'all can. So take a look at this dude. I mean, just creeping. My boy is creeping out here. Like, you have to identify where he's at. You have to identify where 3 is at, because if you don't, he's going to do stuff like this. I mean, the Raiders come out in I form, right? No, I mean, they have Waller lined up here, but he's not really lined up in the line of scrimmage, so he's kind of removed. So he's not really protecting. You have 1 tight end here, so 21 personnel, I form. You see that a lot, and watch how Derwin is just going to come around the edge. You can't play action with Derwin blitzing. You just can't. You have. I mean, you at least have to have a running back. $5 super chat from Philip Butcher. Thank you. He says, word is Herbert may not play now. I know, I did see that. But everything I was trying to read their subreddit, and everything they're saying is that if it's a pain tolerance issue, then like holding him out this week isn't going to do anything. It's going to be like a 6 to 8 month recovery for that broken rib cartilage, which I've never heard of, by the way. Absolutely. I've been in sports and specifically athletic training almost my entire life, and I've never heard of a rib cartilage fracture, ever. So maybe someone with like an MD in the chat can correct me, but never heard of it. All right, so watch Derwin here on this blitz. Just nasty. Like, that's how you're gonna try to block him there. You're gonna try to cut block him there. I mean, at least they had a running back accounting for him. But you cannot bring that soft junk on a guy as athletic as Derwin, or he's gonna make you pay. Like, you've got to pick him up. I mean, he's just like, he legit is my number 1 key to victory for our offense executing. And I know that they have Bosa, and I know they have Khalil Mack. Like, I know that, guys. Like, I'm not dumb, but I still think that Derwin is a bigger game changer than the rest of them, because I think I watched Vegas. Oh, J Money subscribed. Thank you, J Money, for subscribing. I appreciate it. I watched 2 teams neutralize the front 7 of the Chargers. I watched the Chiefs do it, and I watched the Vegas do it. And I have the plays here. I have a bunch of plays loaded up, and they just got the ball out quick. They didn't sit back in the pocket. The guy who was the X factor for the Chargers was Derwin. Like, he really was the X factor, and like, you have to account for him more than any of those other guys. Khalil Mack got a sack. I mean, he got his, but I mean, this is it, man. This is the guy. This right here, this guy is the guy you have to identify pre-snap on the field at all times. You really do. Patrick Jackson, who should be asleep, man. I'm humbled by Patrick Jackson being here, man. Staying up. He on vacation. He had him. You must have had you a couple too many brown ales there, Patrick Jackson. He says Broncos fans were mad about losing Callahan. I mean, Callahan was one of their highest rated PFF players. I think I saw that. What was his rating in that game? Let me see. I had it here somewhere. I don't know. He had a pretty high rating. I mean, he's their nickel corner. I mean, he's a guy that they are just going to be on the field a lot. Shay says the Vegas line is what convinced me he's seriously close to not playing. Yeah, the Vegas doesn't lie. And when the numbers started coming down, you're right. I mean, there's something there. I don't know. Cosmic Baller says, does it matter if Justin plays? Don't we want to see how good we are? We can still pressure him and sack him. So Cosmic, that's a very good point. And I found myself kind of ping-ponging back and forth between, I kind of want Herbert to play because I really want to see where we're at. Like, I got some clips of like Mike Williams, and I think the next biggest thing is going to be Mike Williams, a little spoiler on how we can handle covering him. But if Herbert doesn't, I mean, that win is so nice, man. That win is so nice. James thinking he's Micah Parsons. Chargers fans want Herbert to sit, but I'm pretty sure he'll play. Like I said, I don't think it's like a recovery thing. I don't know. I think it's like a pain tolerance thing. So I don't know. I got one more Derwin play, and I think this is actually Derwin getting beat. So it is possible. So this is like what they ended up. If you guys know how my recording is, it comes in kind of dark because of the way the NFL Plus is set up. But Darren Waller, let me see if I can get you here pre-snap. Okay, so Darren Waller is gonna go. Make sure y'all can see this. Okay, barely. Sweet. Darren Waller is gonna like pre-snap motion into this spot here. Okay, so he's gonna come from the other side of the field, which is basically going to make the Chargers declare that they're in man coverage. So Derwin's going to follow him across the field. Then they're going to run Waller on just a drag route here. I mean, Darren Waller is like really athletic, but he's not like a speedster. Like, he's got the size and speed combo. He's got the hands and he can block. Like, he's definitely an elite tight end, but he's not the type of guy that you would think would be able to like dust Derwin on a drag route. So I can imagine that if we put one of our speed guys here, whether it be Kirk or Jones, or I mean, even Evan Ingram, I think could get open on this same route. I mean, look how Waller's able to beat Derwin in man coverage. I mean, this was a big. I mean, he doesn't catch it. I mean, it's a bad throw by Carr. But if the ball's out in front of him, that's a touchdown. He throws it behind him, and But I mean, that's dusted. So that's what I'm saying. You have to get he is beatable. Like, he is beatable in coverage because he does kind of play that strong safety role, but you have to kind of identify the man coverage pre-snap, and I think the Jags will do that. Doug Peterson does a good job of pre-snap motion, figuring out what coverage they're in, and getting them in a situation where Lawrence can see, all right, Derwin's got one-on-one with a guy that can beat him on this route. Like, this wasn't great coverage. Obviously, Derwin would have liked in this situation to kind of get his hands on him and to get some like inside leverage and kind of maybe redirect him up and out here. But it doesn't happen. It gets a clean release, and it should have been a touchdown. And I think Vegas settles for 3 here. Cody Jackson says, been dropping Duval chant in all the Chargers media chats. I feel good about this game, and it's because of Doug Peterson and the defense. I think you're right. Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, Peterson is different. He really is different. Shay says, even if Herbert sits, this game is still tough, could easily still lose. I'm not too worried about their run offense, but I mean, and I know Eckler's good, but I get what you're saying, Shay, because Herbert didn't do anything last week against the Chiefs that was like a backup quarterback couldn't do. I mean, I think most of his throws were under 10 yards. They were all checkdowns, screens, flares from the running back, quick little tight end curls, quick outs. Nothing like that a backup quarterback couldn't do. Now, I don't know if like Easton sticks the guy. I don't know who comes in. Maybe that creates some matchup problems with a runner like Easton Stick, but you're right. I mean, they could still execute their same offense with backup quarterbacks for sure. P. Jack says, I don't think the Chargers wide receivers threaten us as much as Washington's did. Shaq's biggest weakness these days is raw speed, which isn't William or Allen's biggest. That's the thing. Okay, so that leads me. That's a good transition. So I legit think Derwin James is like key number 1 to the game. I seriously do. But I think Mike Williams is number 2. I mean, Mike Williams is just an absolute man-child. I mean, the way that look at this play. Like, that's the type of play that I'm terrified of. Not only Shaq Griffin, who is questionable with a hip, but I think he'll play. But this is exactly the type of thing that we are used to seeing out of Tyson Campbell. Like, this was a cool little play design. Like, so they do a lot of play action. I haven't seen a team do as much play action as the Chargers have through the first 2 weeks ever in my life. I mean, I feel like every other play, more than every other play, was play action here. So they're going to come out with one guy here on the end line, another guy here on the end line. So potential for max protect. Chiefs do look like they're kind of loading the box here. But the Chargers want to take a shot. Play action. They get all of the Chiefs flowing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys flowing. You have the only guy that identifies this as a play action is 22, who's 15 yards, 10 yards away from Herbert. This guy who's 12 yards away from Herbert. And you're getting a little backside release here. So, don't know how that happened. Okay, so you have just a beautiful route here and just gets mossed. Like, how many times have we seen Tyson Campbell get mossed like this? Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it doesn't necessarily give me hope that the best attribute of their best receiver is the weakness of our corners. Like, defending slants or breaking on the ball on deep routes. But jump balls isn't kind of our specialty, unfortunately. So this kind of scares me a little bit. Mike Williams scares me a little bit. Week 1 against the Raiders, he didn't do too much, but he definitely went off against the Chiefs for sure. This other play here against the Chiefs, I mean, come on, dude. And look, I mean, this is like the difference between Herbert and your backup quarterback right here, right? Watch Herbert's front shoulder, okay? Watch his front shoulder here, okay? So he gets the snap, he immediately turns, and did you see how he kind of gives it a little fake there? Did you see how he over rotates his front shoulder to the sideline right here? Over rotates his shoulder. So I don't know if there was an out and up type of situation or a hitch and go or whatever, an outside release. Then he brings his shoulder back, gets on his back foot. This is a 3-step drop and just drops in there perfectly. One-handed catch. Great. I mean, this is uncoverable. I mean, this is perfect position by the Chiefs defensive back. Perfect. But you cannot stop a catch like this. We saw a catch last night from George Pickens. That was similar. You can have great coverage, but you make a one-handed catch like this. I like Shaq Griffin. I like Tyson Campbell. I like Darius Williams. But these last 2 plays I showed, doesn't matter how good your coverage is. This is just a receiver making a better play than defensive backs are allowed to do. I don't know. They had Chase Daniel at quarterback 1 in practice today, right? Yeah, so Chase Daniel was the guy that I was trying to think of. I was looking up the other day. I think the most passing yards he's ever had in his career is was it 500 yards one year? But he's been a backup for a long time. Put Shaq on Allen. They're both slow, says Fat Boy. Oh, yes, I forgot they announced Shaq as questionable earlier. That elevated Herndon and highlights how thin we are at corner. Yeah. Keenan Allen. What's the deal with Keenan Allen? Because I saw that he was hurt too, so I don't know. He might not play either. Still questionable. Yeah. I know, but I wish Darius would play outside. Yeah, I don't know why they just love him at nickel. That's a good point. I don't know. Cody says he makes that catch 1 out of 10. Maybe. Maybe you're right, Cody, but he made it. Jaggernaut says, I hope our front 4 can pressure whoever is back there for the bolts and vice versa. Our O-line can keep Trevor clean. I think if they game plan appropriately, the same way that the Chiefs and the Raiders did, and just get the ball out quick, throw screens, I mean, get it out quick. If you're going to take a shot deep down the field, do it after you've had success running the ball. Like, I think we could have success running the ball. Like, I really do. Derek Sindler says, would it make sense to put Cisco as help on Williams? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of, here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of cover 2, which wouldn't allow him to like be in the immediate help for Williams because Williams would be in a nickel. And I'm seeing a lot of man when Mike Caldwell brings pressure. And they were listening to the Ringer NFL podcast today because they had a little blurb about the Herbert versus Lawrence matchup, which potentially could be like the future of the NFL. And they talked about how Todd Bowles has a system where he stops the run to make you throw. And I kind of feel like Caldwell's kind of adapted that same thing because I feel like Caldwell and Bowles are very similar. I mean, even from their schemes and like what they run on third down is very similar, and how they play their linebackers and edge rushers is very similar. So I think they're going to do the same thing. I think they're going to stop the run. They're going to stop Eckler. Who's the other running back that the Chargers have? I forgot his name. Chargers have another running back that they ran into the ground with Eckler. Joshua Kelly, out of UCLA. I mean, I know they have Sony Michel, and I know they have Isaiah Spiller, but they ran Kelly and Eckler like a lot. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll get to that here in a second. I think we'll have success running the ball. Look, if we look what the Chiefs. This is how the Chiefs started the game here. Okay, yeah, Kelly and Michelle. This is how the Chiefs started the game. Watch this. Is the first 3 plays. Watch this. Inside zone. Okay, gain like 6. And this was the Chiefs like opening script for against the Chargers. First play, inside zone. Second play. Watch this. This is the start of the game. Unedited. Inside zone. Like, okay, first down. Here we go. First down. All right. Third play of the game. We're going to shift pre-snap to a fullback, and we're going to give it to our fullback to the inside. Like, clearly the Chiefs, and they got 6 yards again. So clearly the Chiefs, like, plan going into this was to hit the Chargers in the interior, and that's where they're weakest. If you look at where, like, Khalil Mack lines up, and where Bosa lines up, and where Derwin James is going to line up. And I'll even give you, I don't know, like I'll even give you Van Noy, right? And he's in a weak side linebacker. So you're going to be able to get up in the interior on this inside zone. Like I really do think James Robinson and Etienne are going to have field days. Like Fat Boy, you're right. I think they're going to, like Cody, you're right. Like they know we can run the ball, but I think we'll still be able to run the ball. Like I was surprised at the inability of the Chiefs to run the ball because they typically can run the ball if they want to. They stack the box, but I really think that play all the running backs. I mean, this was the first 3 plays of the game. Alonzo Cubano says, I'm so stoked I caught a live after a great day. Alonzo, I'm so pumped you had a great day. I also had a great day, man. I had a great day today, I got to say, for sure. Jaggernaut says, nice. Let's hope our run game can get going early. Yeah. Their run D was one of the worst in the league last season, right? It was, but they bolstered it. I mean, they got guys in there to bolster it. Like I said, Kyle Van Noy, Khalil Mack. I mean, those were big additions. Joey Bosa is going to help against the run, but their interior D is going to be where they're weak. But maybe they sell out. Here's where I think we're going to be able to do some damage, right? I really think the interior of their offensive line is really poor. Okay. Mike Williams, Rashawn Slater, they've been pretty decent on their offensive line, but you look at a guy like their right guard, Zion Johnson, he had a 38 PFF pass block grade. Left guard, Matt Filer, had a 25.7 pass block grade and a 41 run block grade. Their center is hurt. Will Clapp as their backup center is playing. Storm Norton, their backup right tackle. Like, their offensive line is decimated and bad. Their left tackle is decent. Okay, I'll give you that. Their left tackle is decent. Rashawn Slater is decent. He gets beat on one of these clips. But here's who I think will feast. Arden Key. Because Arden Key does exactly what the Chargers are bad at, okay? Late in passing downs, they cannot block the interior defensive lineman. They absolutely cannot. Watch this here, okay? I mean, look where this pressure comes from. I mean, you wonder why Herbert's hurt. I mean, this is like a very simple blitz scheme. Like the Jags are much better than the Chiefs when it comes to dialing up blitzes, because pre-snap, if you can't notice, Chiefs are all over the place. Like they got the call in late. The Chargers got to the line quick. There's a bunch of disarray happening here, but somehow 54, who you're going to see soon, got the call that he's going to have a late stunt into this B gap, and he's just going to get an absolute free release at the quarterback. Watch this. I mean, it goes absolutely unblocked. I mean, look how unathletic he looks getting there. Watch. Look how long it takes. We don't have any linebackers that are this slow. Even Chad Muma is fast. Shaq Quarterman's faster than this. I mean, this change of direction is pathetic. I mean, this is horrible. And he still gets to the quarterback. I mean, listen, the interior of their offensive line is going to be insanely weak. That's why I'm telling you, Arden Key. If there's a prop bet on Arden Key, if it's half a sack, put it there. Put it down. Guarantee you that he's going to have a sack. Absolutely guarantee you. Look at this one. I had to do this view here. Watch this. Okay. Oh, this was the Chargers defense. Okay, side point. I had this in the wrong folder. Forgive me. I don't know what the Chiefs were thinking, right? This has to do with my point of the interior offensive line of the Chargers being bad. This is a side point. Like you're an empty formation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're empty. And you see pre-snap that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chargers potentially blitzing you. How on earth do you not have a check? I mean, they're obviously in man coverage. I mean, you're obviously in man all the way across the board here. You get your trips bunch, perfect. Your trips bunch, perfect. Make a check to a bubble, right? Or do a drag and a slant behind it and a wheel. A quick slant. Like, do something. But don't take a sack here if you're the only guy that was even looking for the ball here was this guy. And he's furthest from Patrick Mahomes. Not looking. You got to be better than this, Patrick. I mean, who am I to sit here? But, I mean, listen. Let's go. All right. That play didn't really prove my point. I don't know how that got into that folder. All right. Interior offensive line of the Chargers. This is horrible. I mean, this is absolutely horrible. I mean, this reminds me of, like, Andrew Norwell, Zane Beadles. I mean, this gives me flashbacks. Watch this left guard. I mean, you're telling me we don't have a defensive lineman that can do this? That's not even a move. That's just running forward with your hands up. Like that. That's what I'm telling you. Like that. And on third down, like Arden Key, he's going to absolutely feast there. Dwan Smoot is going to feast there. Fatu Kasi, I could see this being the week he gets a sack. I mean, this is a yard away from a safety. Horrible blocking. Like, this gives me Will Richardson vibes, boys. Their run D was one of the worst in the league. Jay Coop says, Jags have nothing to lose. Just go out there and punch them in the mouth. Get the victory and go home. I like it, Jay Coop. Fat Boy Shot. I've been impressed with Doug's play design. Me too. DTWD says, Duval. I like it. 30th in yards allowed. Only the Texans and the Steelers were worse. I get P-Jack. Rashawn Slater is legit. He is. But I think this next play he gets whooped. So you're right, Philip, though. You're right. I mean, his PFF grade against the Chiefs was pretty good. He was great against the Colts. The sort of performance had been a long time coming. Jaggernaut says, Jason getting us hyped for the game. Duval. Let's do it. You know me. I'm already hyped. Sorry, I'll try. I think we'll see lots of stunts to get Trayvon and Josh Allen up the middle. Shay says ETN breakout game. Shay, potentially. I think both running backs could. This could be a game where we look and we're like, do both ETN and Robinson both have almost 100 yards? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I think that could potentially happen here. All right, let's take a look here. This might be the play of the yeah. Okay, so Rashawn Slater doesn't get necessarily whooped here, but he's the reason why this outside zone doesn't work. Okay, so here we have the Chargers against the Raiders, and again, sorry about the dark shaded here with the video, but actually a pretty good release here from the center. Unfortunately, he's hurt, so he's not going to be playing. Good release here to get here. He's responsible there. I think he gets to the next level here. I think that's the blocking scheme on this outside zone. Rashawn Slater, I mean, that's just not good. I mean, how do you let... I think this is Clelin Ferrell. Getting... Clelin Ferrell, if you don't remember, should not be whipping Rashawn Slater. This gets absolutely inside of him. It gets... I mean, this is... You never want your feet to look like this. Now, I never played offensive line. I coached with a lot of great offensive line coaches, including Tony Pacelli. You never want your feet in this situation. Ever. Never. We call this on roller skates. Okay? Clelin Ferrell just going to get inside. And then here comes the cavalry. Not a great play. Look, the Chargers did not run the ball very efficiently against anybody this year, even in the preseason. So it's no dub because their offensive line isn't very good, or they've been injured, or whatever you want to call it. But this is not what you want. I mean, this is poor blocking by your left tackle here, Rashawn Slater. So, yeah, it doesn't give up the pass rush, but wouldn't necessarily call that a great run block there either. I mean, the run block grades for these guys were abysmal. I mean, they could not get anything going on the ground. And, you know, I think whoever the quarterback is, probably Herbert, is going to have to make plays with his arm. Absolutely. Butcher says, yes, Shay. It is ETN's very good. Chase says, I guess I'm blocked by Duval till we die. I don't see his chats. Maybe. No, hey, listen. That's life sometimes. Ben Haney, any chance we get into a shootout? Yeah, I mean, listen, my top concern is one of my top concerns is Mike Williams. If we can't stop Mike Williams and he goes off against us, and then all of a sudden we have to sit back in this like soft cover 2, and we let them just throw screens all over the place. I mean, look, the Chargers run a bunch of screens. I mean, if you can't run the ball, you throw screens. I mean, look at this. I mean, if you can't run the ball, this is what you have to do. And the Jags, not a great play there. Historically, the Jags have not been great against screens. Here's another play action. But historically, the Jags have been bad against the screen, but the Chargers are going to abuse this screen. They're going to absolutely abuse it. I mean, there's one play, doesn't work. Here's another one. They're going to try to run it again. I think this one does work. I mean, just because of great movement here. Great movement here by Eckler. I mean, that's the only reason why this worked. But I'm telling you, they're gonna screen the crap out of us. We have to be ready. I mean, they know the Jags have an aggressive pass rush, and they know that these Jags defensive linemen and edge rushers are going to try to get upfield quickly. And you have to be able to stop this. This is what makes Eckler like this. I love running backs with good balance. This is one of the things that made MJD one of my jersey on the wall, one of my favorite Jaguars of all time. This is what made me just a huge fan of MJD, is his balance. I know he was low to the ground, he had great center of gravity, but this type of balance is just massively important. Here's another one here. They're running against the Raiders. Play action, shocker. They're going to run play action every single play. They really are. Herbert loves him some play action. This one was more of a screen to the receiver on a jet sweep. The Raiders stay at home, but you're going to see a healthy dose of this all game, so you have to be ready for it. Absolutely have to be ready for it. I'm surprised the Raiders lost this game. The Raiders, could have won this game if they would have managed the clock better. A few plays here and there gone their way. A couple calls here and there gone their way. Would have gone better there. Where do you stand on the call to swap Fortner out for Shatley at center? Seems way too early to make a change there to me based on what we saw in preseason. I think I haven't necessarily seen anything horrible out of Fortner. I've seen worse blocking out of Cam, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, listen, he's young. He's only going to get better. You know what you have in Shatley. I'm with you, Patrick. I think me and you are kind of mind melding here. Give him a little bit more time. If you find yourself in week 8 or 9, he's still killing you. All right, put Shatley in. That's fine. I mean, you know what you have in Shatley. But Fortner has the potential to be like a stud at center and a guy you can plug it. I mean, look at these centers all throughout history, whether it's Jags history or any other team. You can plug centers in for like 15 years. So if you have that ability with Fortner, like, let's go ahead and get that going. Derek Sindler says, I think ETN specifically in the slot and space over the middle. Yeah, I mean, the middle is where the Chargers like to go, and the Jags, I mean, that's the easiest throw there. He is getting whipped, Patrick. He gets ran over a lot. I'm talking about Fortner. Okay, and maybe. I also heard Baselli say Fortner doesn't play to the whistle. Makes the first block, then calls it a play. Huh. I mean, that's not good. And he didn't show that in college, so hopefully it's just like a bad habit. Jesus is king. What up, Jesus? He says this will be a hard win to get. We need to start fast and shut the crowd up. I mean, doesn't LA have historically a bad crowd? But you're right. Jesus King, I'm a little optimistic this game. Maybe it's the performance we're coming off of with the Colts. I know the Colts were bad, but I don't know. I mean, the injuries that the Chargers are dealing with makes me kind of feel like we have a better chance than usual. Philip Butcher says Mike Williams is better than Terry McLaurin. But to be fair, Terry McLaurin only beat us on one play, and it was on that lazy cover 2 coverage. To be fair. It was really the Curtis Samuel that was beating us in that game, Philip. But you're right. But they're different types of receivers. Mike Williams is going to go up and get it, which might hurt us more. Patrick Jackson says, one of Nick Bolton's 10 tackles in the game on that screen. He did a lot of work in that game. Oh, I like it. I'm not concerned about the Chargers crowd, that's for sure, says Butcher. Across the middle, maybe screen to ETN, yeah? Yeah, no, I think you're going to see a healthy dose of screen to ETN. So, I mean, we're going to have to defend the middle of the field. Like, Herbert likes the middle of the field. I mean, this is in the red zone. It was a great throw here. I mean, absolutely great throw. I mean, that's what you want to see. If you're a Chargers fan, you want to see that type of throw. And look, this was a great game for Josh Palmer. I mean, he had a great week 1. Didn't necessarily. This was like his best play in this game. He didn't really do much in this game besides that, but Josh Palmer's a good receiver. Good receiver. So you're going to have to cover the middle of the field. It's going to be a big test for Cisco. Can Cisco cover these quick guys coming across the middle of the field? The red zone's so hard to defend. I mean, you see the linebackers dropping there and just kind of looking for something to do, and, both getting Eckler out of the backfield and allowing Palmer to release on this post. Like, that's the thing is they love the post over the middle. They absolutely love the post over the middle. I mean, I think there was another one here. I mean, loves the post over the middle. Watch this. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's an absolute dime. And that's DeAndre Carter. It's not even a guy that, like, you would think of immediately when you think of Chargers receivers. But this throw and catch, I'm telling you, Herbert wants that post. And if he catches the Jags in man coverage or cover 2, because in cover 2, your middle of the field is like your weakness. So if he catches the Jags in cover 2, they're going to have posts and quick slants lined up for that coverage. And this set up the touchdown. Hopefully Cisco's there to make a play. I mean, maybe Darius Williams, this will be his come out game because he'll be able to make a play. But yeah, it's a nasty throw. I mean, he loves those middle of the field post routes. He really does. And I mean, that's going to be it, man. That's going to be it. Nothing aside from Shaq potentially being out makes me feel like we can't get the W. Yeah. I mean, I think questionable gives me, like, I don't know, good vibes a little bit. That's what Tony and Pete were talking about with Luke's blocking. Okay. Feels like Gerald Everett game to me personally, especially if Keenan Allen sits. Yeah, Gerald Everett's kind of like their quiet assassin that's playing decent for them. 100%. All right, Jags United. Catch you after the victory Sunday. Duval till we die. Thanks, Jagger. I appreciate you coming by. Yeah, I mean, it's already been 40 minutes. Good Lord. Time flies when you are having fun. I only have like a few more plays lined up here. So whoever said, I forgot who it was, said ETN running the screen. I mean, that's going to be big. Like I said, because of the pass rush that the Chargers are going to be able to get on us with Mack and Bosa and Derwin blitzing, like you're going to have to throw a lot of screen passes, which the Jags didn't do under Urban for some reason, but Peterson's been doing it. But I mean, you can have success here. I mean, get the ball to your back here like they did here, what the Chiefs did, and get upfield. Like this should be the mold and model for what we do. Like all of our passes should be the 1 to 3 step drops. Unless you're in some sort of like naked boot or you're in some sort of like play action 5-step drop, get the ball out quick, neutralize the pass rush. That's the best part of their team. It's the absolute best part of their team. So neutralize it. We have playmakers in space that can do it. So get the ball in space and do it. Another thing that Jags fans and defense is going to be looking out for is the trick plays. You know, Brandon Staley loves these little trick plays. Now, this one didn't really work out too well, but, they tried it, which means, can you expect a fake field goal, a fake punt? This is the time of the year when you start to see some of that stuff because coaches want to put it on film. They want to see how it looks against situations where they run fakes. So be looking for something a little fancy here from the Chargers because although this play was an absolute train wreck of a play, it shows their willingness to do something risky for sure. If we are going to go deep and if we are going to take a shot deep, then we're going to have to do it off play action. And there is potential there with J.C. Jackson being out. Although this play does happen against J.C. Jackson. I mean, this was one. I mean, when I saw this live, I was sickened by the fact that Mahomes could even make this throw. Like Justin Watson, like who is that? And the fact that Mahomes, this throw right here, that's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Like Mahomes is that even a release? That's a faster release than a jugs machine. Look at this thing. Good Lord. And then like on the money, like perfect throw. Like, come on. But J.C. Jackson's out. So, I don't know. Maybe they're better off without him. I don't know. He hasn't been the same guy in a while. All right. It wouldn't be a film breakdown of the Chargers if we didn't at least include one Khalil Mack play. Now, am I going to necessarily say this is what's going to happen to Jawan Taylor? I don't think so, because this right here is Jermaine Elumanor. Excuse me. Excuse me. I think Jawan Taylor is better than this guy. But Khalil Mack is just going to absolutely clown him here. I mean, absolutely clown him. Derek Carr stands no shot. But I mean, put a running back over there. I mean, I know you got to try to stop Bosa too, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't have Lawrence sitting back here in the pocket all day waiting for someone to get open, because Khalil Mack is just going to absolutely destroy whoever's in front of him. And I think Jawan, I mean, this is not good. I mean, if you watch, we'll call him Jermaine, because I can't pronounce his last name here. I mean, his kick step, he's kick stepping. I mean, he stands no shot in this situation at all. I mean, look how off balance he is. Watch this. I mean, he's kicking, he's trying, he gets pushed into Derek Carr. I mean, that's not ideal. Okay, so, and on top of that, you have my boy Derwin James looping in here. It would have cleaned up the sack if it wasn't for him. So either way, he's going down. So you got to have something ready to get the ball out quick, or you're going to be in trouble. Like, you can't put Jawan Taylor in a situation where he has to block Khalil Mack. And I know what you're thinking, like, well, he's the right tackle and Khalil Mack is the weak side edge rusher, but you can't do that. You can't. You have to have a running back there to chip. I know you have Bosa, you got a double team. If they bring, I mean, you just got to have a check pre-snap any time for every play. And they will. I mean, Doug Peterson knows what he's doing. I mean, If he can scheme against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, then he can scheme against the Chargers. Okay, he's fine. I'm not worried about it. And I think we have the talent there. The Raiders' offensive line doesn't do a great job of passing off the block and helping. Like, I know it's not necessarily his job, but this guard probably should have realized that he backed off into coverage and left the center one-on-one with him and then kicked out to help. That's probably what the coaches had coached them to do. So here, instead of the guard flipping back into the interior, he should have went out and helped. Not that I think it would have mattered, but I don't know. That's gonna be the stuff we're gonna have to do if we're gonna win this game. Derek Snyder says, post over the middle in the red zone sounds like a good play for Evan Ingram. Michael Johnson says, Zay Jones going to find the end zone this week? ? I think so. Because I don't necessarily think I think the Chargers, this game's going to be a lot higher scoring than people think. So I'd say take the over. Take the over on, what was the over I said? Take the over on Arden Key sacks. Take the over on that as well. Michael Johnson says, Asante versus Kirk in the slot is going to be so much fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, I like Asante Samuel. I like the Chargers. I do. I like all their players. I like Herbert. I like Asante Samuel. I like Joey Bosa. I like Khalil Mack. I like Derwin James a lot. You guys know that. I like Bryce Callahan. Yeah, I like these guys. I wish we weren't playing them. I think the team's well built. I think it's well built. P. Jack says, was that reason because Urban was an absolute fraud? Yes. Urban was an absolute fraud. Eddie Wagabu says, I'm here. What's up, Eddie? Welcome, Eddie. I'm sorry, Jermaine who? Yeah, Khalil Mack thought the same thing. That's why he ran through him to get to Derek Carr. Can Juwan Taylor handle Khalil Bosa? I mean, he'll, pass blocking, he's actually been better than run blocking. So, maybe. Oh my God, LMAO, Juwan will not be that bad. Okay, Philip, I'm with you. Moon Illusion says, dang, I'm late. Moon, you are late. But though it's on VOD, so you can go back. You're going to want to watch this VOD. It was a good one. Ben Haney, it's games like this where I miss having a fullback like Greg Jones to help with blocking. So here's what's interesting. Is the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs, all three teams that I was watching in these first 2 weeks, watching the Chargers, all had fullbacks. It's weird. Because I was like, I thought the fullback was extinct. They all had fullbacks. And the Chargers will throw to their fullback. I don't know his name, but they'll throw to him. He's like number 40 or 42, but they'll throw to him. Josh L. says, believe it or not, Taylor had a great game against Mack the last time we played Chicago. I believe it. Listen, I have been standing up for Juwan Taylor longer than anybody. Moon Illusions, their team is loaded, man. Yeah, they are. P-Jack says, Moon. That's it. Edgardo Silva says, evening. Big game from Juwan is needed. Yeah, big game from the entire offensive line. When you have guys like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, then, yeah, you're going to need a big game. Not to mention, listen, I keep saying this. Derwin James is my X factor. He's a really good blitzer. Really, I mean, that's that first sack I showed. Good blitzer. Absolutely good blitzer. Do you know if Lindsley is playing, we could exploit their interior and right side? So, Moon, you were late. One of my first things I talked about was how their interior offensive line is going to be exposable and how the Raiders and the Chiefs exposed it multiple times. It's the stunts. They do not pass off blocks well. They get beat on the inside. They're pretty good at fan protection, meaning they're pretty good at like getting their most outside shoulder guy, but they're terrible at passing off blocks and getting guys running in. Jermaine Cole says, Brooks, J. Cole, I like it. I'm a big J. Cole fan myself. Brooks, glad you're here. I'm sorry, 40 who? Joe Ross says, Duval. What up, Joe? Jeff Singer says, I'm late, but I'm here. Go Jags. How are you guys all late? Do you guys not follow my Twitter? Okay, I posted on Twitter that I was going on at 8:30. Come on, boys. Get on Twitter. Turn on those notifications. Don't act like you had something else going on in your lives, okay? I'm just kidding, Jeff. Glad you're here. Eddie, how do they have enough cap room to sign Khalil? Because the cap room's a myth, Eddie. It's an absolute myth. I mean, look at the Rams. Absolute myth. Shay says 4 o'clock is closest to prime time we're getting this year. Win this in front of America and be in the talk in the league in the lead up for Sunday Night Football. So that's why I like to listen to. That's why I like the Ringer, because those guys actually do their homework and watch film and research. That's why I love their podcasts, because the title of their last podcast that came out today was their game of the week was the Bucks and the Packers. But then, so the title of their show was Rodgers, Brady, Herbert, Lawrence. So like they realize that this Herbert Lawrence matchup like could be big, especially for like now and the future. So some people are already recognizing it, but you're right, Shay. If they do play well in that 4 o'clock slot, that mid-afternoon slot, you're going to see a lot of people talking about him. Moon Illusion says, I'm scared Shatley is going to make Trevor see ghosts all game. I hope we hold up long enough. Staley. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to bring pressure. Probably. Jeff Singer, it's 7:30 here. I just finished supper. Okay, all right. I like it. Jeff, I'm glad you're here. Timmy Devil 999, I'm late. Oh, shocker. But I hope Justin Herbert plays. I don't want a cheap victory. Oh, I like it, Timmy. We were talking about that earlier in the show. You're right. I'm kind of with you there. I'm kind of with you. And thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Gladiator 97 says, Giants fan here. I never played a down of football in my life, so I always have had kind of a casual knowledge of the game. I've learned a ton watching this. Keep up the good work, man. Oh, Gladiator, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm just glad you're here. You know, this is a place for all fans. I'm not gonna start ranting because everyone knows that I do. But the reason why this channel was started was because the casual fan like could not get their voice in at all on any medium. Like we have a local radio station here. They take like 2 calls the whole show. I'm like, oh, like give the fans are the ones spending their money, and even more important than their money, they're spending their time. Like, do you know how much time it takes out of your weekend to go down to TIAA Bank Stadium, to get down there at 10 and to get home at 5? That's your entire day. That's an entire work day you're spending on the Jags. Like, you have family, you have like a lot of people like exercise religion on Sunday. There's a lot going on Sundays that people are giving up for the Jags. So to sit there and try to act like that Jags fans like don't know what they're talking about, don't deserve a say, or shouldn't have a say, it rubbed me the wrong way. End rant. Eddie Wogaview says, Trevor's the future GOAT. Absolutely, Eddie. And you know that I've thought that for a long time. J Money has subscribed. Thank you, J Money. I appreciate it. If somehow we beat the Chargers, Philly revenge game will be electric. Philly's good, man. I don't know if they're just like a fake or if they're good. It looks like they're good, but I have a lot of fans that are Eagles fans, and I want them to be fake. So I know they're good, but I want them to be fake. Chase, our teams are built similar. We're just a year or two behind them. Okay. Congrats on your strong start, Gladiator. Yeah, what's up with Kadarius Toney? Is he going to play or what? I like our D-line versus their banged-up O-line. So, Jeff, that's where I think we're going to have the biggest advantage is in that aspect. Is Keenan Allen playing? I'd assume so, right? I don't know, man. They're keeping their cards close to the vest, which is what any team would do. But I don't know. Big Diesel 54 says, just made it in, man. Bro, you guys is Friday night a bad night? Okay, we can't do Mondays and Thursdays anymore because there's Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. So I'm not going to sit here and make y'all pick between the greatest YouTube show of all time and football, all right? I'm not going to make you do that. But Tuesdays and Fridays, you have no excuse. But obviously, maybe I'll start the show. Okay, next week, I'll start the show later. How about that? Sorry, Patrick. I know your time zone doesn't really yield well to that. But everyone else, I guess, it needs it later. Philip Butcher spams the Jags emojis. He can do that because he's a channel member. Ben Haney, I got Philly in the Super Bowl this year. I really hope not, man. And again, a lot of my friends are Philly fans, so I root against them. Philly's a good team. Base Mover says, I've only won the top Jags games where they actually. one, two. I've only went to the Jags games. It's funny. The only games I haven't gone to are the ones they win. So I think me and my buddy were talking about how I'm going to stop going to the Jags games because every time I don't go, they win. Big Diesel 54 says, I feel we need to run a similar scheme as we did in Indy with screens, decent runs, and play actions. I like our D-line versus their O-line. Yeah, that seems to be where everyone's kind of looking. I'm a little concerned about our O-line against their D-line. Philip says, Jason laughing. Okay. Imagine the Jags in 3 years. Yeah, I mean, if they can re-sign Trevor, that's what it's going to be all about. Sorry, going through a move right now. Big Diesel, you don't have to apologize, bro. I'm just glad you're here. Good luck with the move. I hope everything gets moved and not broken. And I hope their new place is significantly better than your old place. It's time to start some new memories with your new place. And I'm glad you started it here. Moon Illusion says, Kadarius is in the doghouse, unfortunately. No idea why. Coach said he knows the playbook, so it must be an injury or Antonio Brown tantrums. LOL. Patrick Jackson says F. Are you going to bed? Oh. Nah, I'm moving houses, says Big Diesel. Good, man. Congrats. Hope all their stars play. I don't want to water. So a lot of people, Timmy, are in this boat, and I like that because that's where I was at. I kind of want their stars to play. Listen, that's a true sign of a competitor. And I know wins are hard to come by around here, so I get the sentiment that let's take the W and we can get it. But I'm with you. I kind of want to see where we match up. I don't think Indy was a good benchmark for how good we are. I think that was easy. I think that was an easy game for sure. Ben Haney says the last Jags games I went to where they actually won was 0-2 preseason. Oh, Ben. Wow. I bet you I was at that game, probably. I love preseason games, man. You get to see football for like a third of the price. I go to every preseason game. Shay, I would love to see the Jags go 4-0 after the Eagles game. Colts, Texans, Giants, and Broncos in London. Entirely possible. Listen, that's why I was like, some people ask me to do like schedule predictions and record predictions. I won't do it. I will not do it. Because look at that list of teams you just talked about. The Eagles, the Colts, the Texans, the Giants, and the Broncos. We all would have said the Colts would have been hard. The Broncos would have been hard. And we all would have said the Eagles would have been maybe winnable, and the Texans and Giants were easy wins. Now it's looking like the complete opposite only 2 weeks into the season. The Colts are easy. The Broncos look like they suck. And the Giants and the Texans are going to be hard, and the Eagles are probably the hardest team. So that's why I never do record predictions. I know people love them. I know people like to see, like, oh, what do you think the record will be? There is absolutely no point. There's no point. Because of your comment right there, Shay. But you're right. If we go 4-0, I'd be absolutely impressed and happy for sure. Moon Illusions at Timmy Devlin says, even if Herbert misses, their backup is fully capable, especially with all those weapons. I agree that we should want them to be healthy to see how we match up, though. Yeah, Chase Daniel, Easton Stick, who is a run threat, are all capable. J-Man89 says, Herbert playing is the best thing to happen for this defense. Getting pressure on him and making him make throws to be uncomfortable will be key. That's the thing. If we beat Chase Daniel, like, we're still going to, like, limp into week 4. Like, yeah, I think we're good. But if we beat Justin Herbert, like, now we're in the conversation. We're in that big boy conversation. Big Diesel 54 says, yeah, I'm worried about their D-line to chip the ends with running backs and tight ends as well as screens. I feel running the ball is so key. Yeah, I mean, I think the Chargers defense is going to focus on stopping the run, which may help Trevor because they know that we can run the ball. Did you follow me there? Robert Atzer. What up, Robert? He says, we are good to go. Run the ball in short passes. I see Robert's in here being optimistic. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Patrick Jackson says, I was worried about the Broncos. We're going to stomp us, but they look rancid. I'm going to start using rancid in my everyday conversation. I love it. It's a great word. Great word. Hackett could be one and done this year. They were talking about it on this podcast I was listening to, how they were like, Hackett was like terrible with the Jaguars. Like the only reason why the Jaguars even made the run in 17 was because of the defense. Like they made the run in spite of Hackett and Bortles. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, boys. Well, I think this is where I'm going to call it. It's been over an hour. I had a lot of fun time. I'm out of film. to do. I mean, I love talking with you guys. Starting to sweat in here. I don't know. My AC's like off or something. I don't know. But I have a lot of fun. What a great Friday night show. Hey, I apologize to all the people that got here late. I did start at 8:30. Usually I start at 9. I think that next week I'm going to start at 9. And I know it's tough for some people because it's Friday night, but we'll do 9 next week. Try to get more people in here. Not that we didn't have a lot of people, but just like a lot of the regular commenters were late, and I love having some of you guys in here that were late. So I have no problem starting later. Absolutely not. Thank you guys that were in the comments. You guys were awesome. Patrick, big shout out to you for staying up late, man. Well, that's it, man. Philip Butcher, channel member, I appreciate it. Shay, channel member in here. You guys know I appreciate you guys so much for being a part of it. We had Jay Money subscribed. Philip Butcher super chatted $5. Thank you. Montana $1.99 super chat. Corey T joined the channel members. I appreciate it, guys. Listen, we're gonna be here. Maybe we'll do some stuff. Maybe we'll do a live show this weekend. Maybe, who knows? We'll see. If you got here late, go back and watch the VOD. There was a lot of good film breakdown that we had in here. Like the video. Thank you, Ron. Like the video and tell a friend that's a Jags fan or not a Jags fan. I don't know. Maybe tag a Chargers fan. I don't know. But we will be back. And listen, from the bottom of my heart, love you guys. I love doing this channel. I can't say it enough every single week. I have so much fun talking to you guys. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for being in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. And we'll have some more good times. Until next time, as